Hi, my name is Kartistry. I am excited to welcome you to James Poeartistry Productions. You are tuning into an incredible experience known as Poeartistry Gold, where we delve into the art of commentary, storytelling and poetry. We aim to bring you inspiring and thought-provoking content.
This is a Poeartistry Gold moment by the author James Lynch.
Oh, the movies and the economy. Welcome, perceptive readers, to Poeartistry Gold number 161, and I'm very happy to be able to share these thoughts with you. I have to tell you, I chuckle often for some people who, and I'm thankful for them. I want to sing a song before I make this statement or make my other thoughts that I'm going to share with you that have actually been coming from accurate reports from Poeartistry. You know who Poeartistry is. Well, first I want to sing this song. I'm not going to sing no more than 2 words. But that song is, Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child who has his own. Now, with that being sung, I want to talk about the movies, the economy, and yes, this is James Lynch. I'm a human, and I'm stating this. What does movies and the economy, and I'm saying in this case, I'm going to talk about gas prices, all have in common? You see, what makes me chuckle is over the years how easy it has been for some persons to just go to the box office. And let me tell you, movies have been so enjoyed for many, many decades now that depending on the amount of money that was in your pocket determined whether sometimes you would spend a whole weekend. See, yeah, people binge watch now, just TV through Netflix or what have you. But back in the day, depending on how much money you had in your pocket, from the work week, determined whether you would just go and see 1 movie, or 2 movies or 3 movies. And the first movie that you would see was the one that was like, ooh, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. I mean, it's like, woo, that was your priority of what your money was going to be spent on. And then by the time that third movie that you will watch or what have you, or go to attend, it would actually be one of those movies you might have just heard about. It wasn't one that just wasn't really so much on your list. It could even have been the one where it wasn't even talked about as much. So in other words, when you had the blockbuster that everybody was expecting, having all the reporters, all the newspapers, if you will, that, people still had come to their house or were talking about or what have you, you might have just had one reporter who was even trying to get his gig started or what have you, might have talked about, such a movie. You can even find out those not well-known movies from Cisco and Ebert, if you remember those commentaries that they used to give. Well, you went on there and said, oh, okay, hey, I got money. I'm going to see it. You see? All right. Now, see, that's when your pockets. It didn't mean that you had deep, deep pockets, but it still meant that the economy and the gas prices were on such a level where you had that extra change to go see the movie, you see. Now, recently, I watched a couple of commentaries, and this is going into the DC universe on what I'm going to state. Superheroes, even way back then, like with Superman, and then, we've seen a lot of movies come out over the years, having all the popular characters from the Marvel and DC universe. You remember that? And it was just one of those things that whatever superhero was being put out from Spider-Man on, you just enjoyed what? Especially if you had some money in your pocket, to go to the movie theater and have just a wonderful experience. I mean, you had money not only to buy your tickets, but boy, you could buy all that high price candy and drinks, and it didn't bother you at all. You didn't think much about it, okay? Because you had the money for it, okay? Even if you worked overtime for it, as I like to say. Well, now in this age that we're in with technology and outrageous gas prices, locations at times, or what have you, is it really the same? Think about it. Poeartistry gave me a report just today that says for your let me get to it. The average price in California runs from $4 to 65 cents. Let me say this again. Average gas prices from $4.65 to $4.85 a dollar. You see, per gallon for regular unleaded. All right. The highest prices reach up towards $5.50 to $6.50 per gallon in certain metro areas and premium grades. California consistently leads the nation in retail gasoline costs due to taxes, regulations, refining, and distribution. Northern California tends to run slightly higher than Southern California in some cycles. You know what? I know I may have just rushed through that a little bit because I was trying to do this Poeartistry Gold moment within 5 minutes. It's just not going to happen. So let me just go ahead and just keep talking and make my point. And if it goes longer than what I wanted to, I hope you still enjoy. See, here is the point about the gas prices, the average or what have you. See, back in the day, that was a movie ticket. Okay, that was a movie ticket. People would sometimes even go during the matinee hour so that they could get cheaper movie tickets. Is it before the matinee hour? Oh, anyway, it was specials. It was like the prices didn't go up in movie theaters until sometimes after 1 o'clock or what have you. Some people would actually go to movies in the daytime because you could practically get them more than half price off. On top of that, if you got a more than half price off, you had extra money to buy the full family meal or pack or what have you that you wanted so you could eat and enjoy the movie. And you see, talk about being frugal, talking about being practical with your money and planning out how you can have a good time with the reasonableness. And guess what else? Because the gas prices over the years have been under $2, believe it or not. I think some of you can still remember that in many locations throughout the country of the United States and probably the world, the gas prices were just cheaper. They just were cheaper. And with the gas prices being that cheaper, people, here's the point, spent more money on their entertainment, didn't they? Their recreation, their travels, their trips that they would make because they had the money to make that they certainly wouldn't make them now, you see, with the way that the gas prices are. The gas prices is taking up your entertainment money. It's taking up my entertainment money or whatever. It is taking up the motivation, the desire. Well, maybe the motivation may still be here, but if you ain't got money in your pocket, you don't got money in your pocket to even give some of these movies a chance that you would have given otherwise when the gas prices, the price gouging in some areas, yes, that's my opinion, the price gouging in some areas is taking that money out of your pocket. My pocket as well. Now, I want to mention another review from something that I saw because, I started telling you about how if you already had a priority of what you wanted to see. You knew you were going to see that movie at least first that weekend, or if that was going to be the only one that you saw, before you got to the point where you started saying, I'm going to still go see that one movie that nobody likes. You see? That everybody is talking about badly. I'm going to go see that movie anyway, because you know what? That was just the type of person you were. You see? You was going to still see it for yourself. And guess what else you found out sometimes? Oh, it wasn't as bad as some of what the people were talking about. You could see the skill. You could see the acting. You could even see why the writers went the way that they went. And I'm going to tell you something else. Sometimes you could see that maybe even the script was kind of, oh my goodness. You know, you might have said that. But the actor or actress was so good in putting everything in it that they had. I could name one off the top of my head, but I won't, because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But the whole point is, I've seen some movies where I was almost like, oh, okay, the dialogue maybe could have been a little bit different. But the whole point is, the actor and the actress that was in it turned that movie into something like, what would they would call it, a cult classic, even though some people are still not mentioning certain, one or two movies I'm thinking about right now as cult classics. But you know what? I still wouldn't be surprised that within the next year or so, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, I gotta go see that movie or whatever. It's one of those Vincent Van Gogh experiences for some of the actors and actresses' older movies or what have you. But this is what I still want to mention. I saw a review or listened to one or two over the past 24 hours. It was an opening weekend for that new, what I would call rewrite of Supergirl. See, Supergirl has always been one of those just type of characters that I never primarily just went in and bought her comics or anything of that nature. It was more of realizing who the character of Supergirl was just through Superman, those type of comics environment. And then, the TV shows of that nature or what have you. However, when the WB, what were they doing? It was almost like there was a whole bunch of series. I mean, a Green Arrow, etc. Back, over 10 years ago now, or what? Maybe. The whole point is, they did a good job with that Supergirl, her character development, personality, etc. That just still fits more towards the way Supergirl really had been over the decades of creation, but you could still see some growth, if you will. I'm not going to talk about the different involvement nature of adulthood or what have you that they involved in the writing. That's what they want to do. But see, Supergirl still stayed to what I would say the character development, etc. storylines, etc. Even though all the storylines, from what I understand, again, were really just branching out into a new cosmos, if you will. They were making brand new, fresh stories. Yet they were really still keeping to, in a sense, the personality of what a Supergirl was supposed to be. Now, all of a sudden, you see, with the superhero universe, what I started really noticing over the years or within the past, it started. Let me see. It started. Let me think about this. I can't really say. All I know is it started in the 2000s. Later 2000s more than the beginning 2000s, and certainly not the 90s or what have you, where liberties just started being taken with writing. You saw it in Star Wars or with canon or what have you, in ways that it almost left some of us being like, oh my God, okay, ask me, this is still just a totally different idea here, a way of viewing matters, real of writing. But as George Lucas would say, hey, he gave it up, even in Star Wars. And so they created a whole, in some cases, in my opinion, a whole different animal, but still just had the face of the original character on it. That's the best way I'm going to say it. All the same, the point that I'm making in this type of economy, you see, when you got money in your pockets or what have you, you have had people who would still take the time, you see, put gas in their car, go to the movie theater, on their second, third, or no choice at all, and will still go and give that movie the time of day. Because guess what? They had the money to give that movie the time of day. Do they today? Oh my goodness. So here is the point. Well, here's one of the points of what have you that I'm making. You see, money matters. The economy matters. When it comes to box office hits and things of that nature, it really does. It affects people's moods, whether they are going to even give a movie, a script, the chance to really be seen in this way or that way. And instead of just going off of what somebody else is saying, they would see it for themselves. One point in closing about Supergirl that I will continue to mention, that it does seem like the writing, but just from the trailers, got something going on there where I was like, oh yeah, that's not a first weekend, you see, type of movie that a lot of persons from my era would go. But you see, when the economy is acting right, when the gas prices that will allow for extra tickets and things of that nature to be right, you see, there are some persons that I still want to mention that after hearing even all the bad talk about this or that would still go. And this is one thing that I am going to mention about the first monetary figures coming in. Gross, if you will, for the movie from around the world. Those same figures that came in from last weekend, it is truly, in my memory, back in the 70s and 80s and maybe even early 90s, that would have been considered, oh, now that's a great opener. Boy, they're going to really, this movie is really going to do good. But see, do you see the perspective of everything? Do you see how inflation has truly just messed up not only the economy, messed up not only people's view on certain matters, but it has truly affected people in such a way that they don't even realize that, no, this was still something, in a sense, great that really happened, even with all the bad talk about what the writers did in this area or what have you, and taking the liberties that they did with Supergirls to try to probably just shock people to their system. Because, some persons were saying, oh, Supergirl just went too woke. Where I say again, the reason why Supergirl had to go so woke is because you're so doggone asleep with every darn thing. That's just a joke, okay? Oh, yeah. So the whole point is, writers out here, I was talking about persons doing their best work or what have you. Some writers are literally doing stuff because in some of the areas, and this is something I can speak from firsthand experience, it's like, granted, it's like everything you put out Then they want to try to say whether AI, artificial intelligence, is going to do it better anyway. And it's almost like, what you're trying to do, just take away human writing altogether. So you got some writers that are being pressed big time to try to impress people who just don't have, and I'm saying this respectfully, the classical mindset to read, to marinate, to savor whatever is being put on that screen or in that book or what have you. Some books, and what I mean by classical is the same way some books were read over and over and over for years and centuries because of the minds of the humans that were still being developed by their mothers and fathers or what have you. Lord have mercy. What has been going on in the era of the internet age, purposely so to try to monopolize and corner everything, even the way people think and feel about their entertainment, their likes and dislikes or what have you. Hey, it's not the same of the classical mindset. So it's almost like you got to stimulate me in the first 1 second, or you know what? You're just a bad author. You're a bad creative. You're a bad writer. You're a bad leader. You're bad this. You're bad that. And really, it's not even based on their own thorough research and viewing of the matter. And also, the reason why I throw the economy in there, because some people would probably just say, you know what? I don't have the time or the money to look into this situation for myself. Thank you for being with me on this Poeartistry Gold 161. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.